welcome back to my channel. My name is Latanya. If you are new here, I am an 8th grade middle school teacher in Southern California, and the primary purpose of my channel is to share my experiences and my lifestyle as a teacher and all that entails. But at the start of 2020, before we even knew what the coronavirus was, I made a goal for myself to really take a hard look at my finances, set some real specific financial goals for myself, and then document that process along the way through these month in review videos. And so I would upload a new video at the end of every month, just kind of talking about the month in review and how things went, maybe some highs, some lows, some struggles, just to kind of keep myself accountable and just to share my process with anyone who's interested out there. Needless to say, the month of May, I was still working on that, but just with the pandemic still going on, the social unrest that's been going on, all the extreme focus I was putting on like just documenting everything in terms of my finances and documenting how I was feeling and writing notes and preparing for these month in review videos, that just took a back seat and I just really wasn't thinking about it. And honestly, I wasn't really in any sort of like mental or emotional state to even want to make a video like that. So there was no video, I should say, for the month of May. So this video is going to be 2 months in review. I'm going to try my best to kind of capture what was going on financially in the month of May as well as the month of June. I don't know how fluid and seamless this video is going to come out because I know I took clips along the way and then there was a gap of time where I didn't take any clips because, like I said, I just really wasn't thinking about that. But I did still try and keep notes on my phone. And so I'm going to do the best that I can to kind of like keep you or bring you up to date on how things are going, and then hopefully going forward we will be back on track with these being on a monthly basis. So now that I've gotten all of that out of the way, like I said, this video is going to cover the month of May as well as the month of June. I didn't take a ton of notes, but I'm just going to share what I have. And then I thought it was important to make this video and make sure this one went up because the end of June marked the halfway mark of the year, which means I've been actively doing this for 6 months, and you know, it just felt like a milestone that I needed to document. So let's start with the first week of May. Obviously the first week of every month is the week that I am paying my bills because I am a teacher, and as such I only get paid once a month. So that very first week is always devoted to me paying bills and trying to just get a sense of how much money I have left after all of my bills are paid. And I believe at the end of April, it just feels like such a long time ago, I think that video ended and I was really just talking about how I felt like I was getting things back on track. Earlier in this coronavirus situation in the month of March, I had to make some, I had to pay a pretty significant amount of money to get car repairs done. And that wiped out my emergency fund, so I had to go back to rebuilding that. And I was feeling a little discouraged and saddened in the month of March, but by the end of April and rolling into May, I started to feel like I was getting things back on track. I was building that emergency fund back up and I was feeling much more positive. The first week of May, my emergency fund was not fully funded back to $1,000, which is the goal, but it was close to being fully funded, and I was able to pay off my very first credit card. I have several credit cards and I honestly can't remember the number right now. It's not like in double digits, but I have multiple credit cards that I'd like to pay off, and I'm starting with the smallest one per the Dave Ramsey snowball technique. And so in the first week of May, when I paid my bills, I was able to pay off the very first credit card in the list of credit cards that I'm working on. So that made me feel really good about myself. And then I got back to the feeling of, as far as my just day-to-day checking account, just feeling like I had a nice little cushion in there so that when the end of May rolled around, I wasn't like scraping by to make it to the 1st of June, which is my pay period. So that was how I was feeling the first week of May, according to my notes. Then the week of May 11th rolled around, and during this week, and by this point in the month of May, I had talked to a couple of friends who had said they were either in the process of refinancing their house, or they had just finished refinancing their house and got a really good deal on their rates, and because of that were saving a few $100s a month in the process. So I decided I should look into that. So I purchased this condo on my own, and when I purchased the condo, the loan rate was 4.75%. So I've been paying 4.75% for about the past 5 years, because I've been here for 5 years. So what I decided to do was say, hey, let me reach out to someone and see what the rates are. It's not gonna hurt to find out. And if anything, it's gonna help if the rates are in fact lower. So I reached out to the woman that was in charge of my loan when I first purchased the condo, asked her if she was still doing mortgages, doing loans, and if so, was she doing refinances? And she said yes. And then I asked her what the rates were like. And so she said the rates were definitely lower than the 4.75 that I was paying. She kind of gave me a timeline as to how long the process could take. She said it could take about 1 month. And so I decided to move forward with that process. I started collecting all the documentation that was going to be required to do the refinance. Luckily, nowadays, everything is pretty digital. So statements, pay stubs, my tax returns, all of that I was able to just send to her through email. I never had to go in for any reason, except later on when the process was coming to the end, and I'll talk about that as we get there. But I started the process of refinancing my condo the week of May 11th. Then the week of May 18th rolled around, and during this week, I got the stipend money that I receive for the work I do with my local school district's union. So we get paid per meeting, and then we also get paid, or I also get paid for doing contract negotiations. So this time around, this was just the pay for the union meetings that I had gone to, and it usually ends up amounting to a few $100s at the end of the school year. I really wanted to just kind of put it in my checking account and leave it there just so that I would have even more of a cushion, but I chose not to, because I know for me, when I do that, that money easily gets spent on things that a lot of times it's just not necessary. So I wrote down unplanned money gets wasted. So I forced myself to deposit that check, and as soon as I deposited, I took that exact amount of money and I paid it on the next credit card that I am now currently working on paying down. So I was good, I did that, but I was tempted. I did also note that I spent more money than what I would have liked in the month of May. There was Mother's Day, and there was something else. There were a couple of occasions where I was buying gifts for people, so that caused me to spend more money than I would have on a normal basis or what I had been spending in prior months. And because of that security that I was feeling, that my little cushion in my account was coming back, that started to go down a little bit, and so that gave me a little bit of anxiety. And then I had to, in that moment, remind myself that a budget is a living, breathing, working document, you know, even though it's not a document, but it's a living, breathing thing, and that not every single month is going to be exactly the same. And when you have 1 month that's different from the other months, that's okay. That's a part of life. That's a part of the process, and you just need to flex and adjust as those moments happen. So when I calmed myself down and reminded myself of that, I felt better about the fact that in the month of May, there was more spending than what I wanted that month, more spending than what I had been doing prior. But May was May, and Mother's Day is Mother's Day, and things happen. So it's just do what you got to do and then adjust accordingly going forward. And I was not able to therefore use my Orange Theory membership to pay on my credit card. So what I had been doing during COVID, coronavirus, pandemic, whatever you want to call it, is obviously Orange Theory had been closed. I wasn't being charged the monthly membership fee because they were closed, and that was about $160, I think. And so what I had been doing was on the day that that $160 would come out of my account, I was taking that $160 and paying it on whatever credit card I was working on. And that worked really well. But because in May, there was a lot more spending going on, and the cushion that I had established was getting lower than what I wanted, and I had to remind myself to flex with it, that was how I chose to flex. I chose to leave that money in the account and just say, this month we're not gonna do that. We're gonna just leave it there because you need to accommodate for the fact that you've spent more than what you wanted to. Then it was crickets for the rest of the month of May. I have no more notes after that. I didn't track anything. I have footage that I took here and there, and I haven't had a chance to kind of wade through all of that. If there's any clips that I took to kind of supplement what I just shared, I will be sure to insert them here, or maybe I've inserted them already. But yeah, that was the last note that I took in the month of May. And then I didn't even have the notion to take any more notes until the week of June 8th. So now we're in the month of June. And the week of June 8th, I was then paid my leadership stipend. So I am the leadership teacher, or I was the leadership teacher for 8th grade at my school. And leadership is basically like I was the ASB teacher for the 8th graders, but we just don't call it ASB, we call it student leadership. And because there's so many additional responsibilities and stressors that come along with that position, we do get paid a stipend at the end of the school year. And so that stipend came through on June 8th with my June paycheck. I mean, I got paid on June 1st, but this is when I took the note, if that makes sense. So I got it on my June 1st paycheck, but the week of May 8th is when I made a note about it. So I got that stipend money, and whereas I took the union stipend money and paid that on a credit card right away, I did wait a couple days with this particular stipend just to kind of figure out how much I was going to put on the credit card. How much could I really afford to put on the credit card? Was I gonna put all of it? Was I gonna put some of it? Because of course my stipend was taxed, so it wasn't as much as it should have been. And so there was a few days where I didn't really do anything with the money because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I ended up only paying $300 from that stipend because that same week I needed to get the light fixtures in my kitchen replaced, so I had to have an electrician come out, and I knew that that was going to cost some money. So I wanted to just kind of be conservative and make sure I had enough money to pay on my credit card as well as enough money to pay the electrician, so it all worked out. And then the rest just kind of stayed in my checking account. And that's all I said about that week. And then the week of June 15th, I decided I had a little extra money to work with. So I decided to go ahead and take another $200, pay that on that credit card that I am now currently working on paying down. And just kind of reminded myself, the other reason why I needed to kind of be cautious is because my June 1st paycheck is the last paycheck that I get from the school district, because I don't get a paycheck in July. And I don't get a paycheck in August because I'm on a 10-month schedule. Now, August through the month of June, the school district does take a portion of my check, and they do put it in a credit union account that I have. So I do have money saved to cover me for the month of July and August. But still, psychologically, I just always get like a little scared when July and August rolls around, because I just won't be getting that direct deposit, and I'm just relying on the money that I saved, and I save enough money to get me through. But I think just psychologically not getting a direct deposit always makes me feel a little bit nervous. So around May and June, those last two checks, I start to get real like antsy about things and real cautious about where my money is going. So that was one of the reasons for my caution there. And then in the week of June 15th, I also started making quite a few Amazon purchases, not just for the fun of it, not just like silly things, but these were all purchases that I've been making for my classroom. So with all the social unrest that's been going on and things like that, and some of the things that I think are missing in the educational system in terms of our textbooks and the information that's presented and how it's been presented, I decided to buy a couple of books to kind of supplement the textbook. And there's just so many resources out there, and so I can't even tell you how many books I bought at this point. Like, I'm looking at my kitchen table right now, and there's 4 there, there's 1 there, that's 5, and I think there's 2 on the way. So I know I at least bought 7 books since mid-June until now. And those cost money. But one of my rules, if you go way back to January where I did the whole kickoff of this whole process for myself, there's a list of rules that I have, and one of the rules, I can't remember what number it is right now, says that I'm pretty lenient with myself in terms of making purchases for my classroom if it's something that I really feel like will enhance my instruction and my teaching, and I definitely think these books will do that. So a lot of Amazon purchases. I think I've slowed down now. I think I've gotten all the books that I need for the time being. So that's the end of my notes. That brings me into the last couple of weeks of June. And so just to kind of wrap up how the month ended, last Friday to be exact, so about a week ago, is when I did in fact close my loan out. So my house has been refinanced. The loan closed on the 1st. My interest rate went from a 4.75% to a 3.4%. For me, I will save $340 a month on my mortgage payment. So it has gone down $340 a month. That money will absolutely, positively be immediately applied to credit card payments every single month, unless I have some emergency and I need the money, which I don't think that will happen, because I've been paying the mortgage payment I was paying that was $340 more. I have been paying that every month for 5 years, and I've been able to do that with very minimal problem. So there's no reason why suddenly that $300 should just, you know, be unaccounted for and not be put to work. So I'm gonna be taking that extra $340 a month and applying that towards my goals and getting my credit cards paid off. So I was super, super excited about that. The other nice thing out of that is that I don't have a mortgage payment for the month of July, so I don't have to make a payment this month. And so that is a pretty significant amount of money that I'm saving in the month. And that, tonight, I have to actually pay my bills for July, and I haven't fully decided what I'm going to do. My understanding is I don't have the monthly payment for the month of July, and that I may have overpaid a month with my previous mortgage company, so they will be sending me back a payment that I made. So in essence, it's like 2 mortgage payments that I'm recouping in the month of July. Plus, I think there was a little bit of an overage in my closing document, so I'm owed some money. So I think for sure, with at least one of those saved mortgage payments, I will at least cut that in half, and half of that will go towards the credit card that I'm working on. I'm hoping though that one of them, the whole thing gets paid on a credit card. Like, I'm hoping that I've saved enough money for the summer that will allow me to take one of those extra mortgage payments that I made, and that whole amount gets applied to the credit card that I'm currently working on. And what honestly will happen is that in and of itself will pay off that credit card, and then a significant portion of the next one that I'm working on. So I'm feeling really optimistic and excited about that. My only apprehension is that psychologically, I just get scared in the summer. So I'm scared to like send the money out and then suddenly realize maybe you needed that money. So there is a possibility that I will just sit that money somewhere in an account and wait until the end of August to actually pay it on the credit card. But my fear with doing that is, like I said earlier, unplanned money gets wasted. And even though that money is planned, it's still like commingling with other money. And what I've learned just by using the Empower app specifically is when I think, oh, I'll just mentally keep track of it and I'll mentally make sure I don't spend it, I don't really do a great job at that. And before you know it, the money is gone. So I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna do. I will definitely keep you guys posted as to what I ended up deciding to do, but I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, at the very least, one of those extra mortgage payments will be cut in half, and that money will be paid on the credit card that I'm actively working on paying on now. And that will be enough to pay that off and then start on a new one. So that is fantastic news. And I just got an email a couple of days ago with that one credit card that I paid off in the month of May, which wasn't even, you know, that big of a balance. With that one credit card I paid off in the month of May, I just got an email from TurboTax, because I have like my credit is monitored and they send me alerts anytime something's changed. And I got an email saying that just for me doing that, my credit score increased by more than 10 points. So that is fantastic news, and my credit is only getting stronger, so I was happy to see that. So that is how my finances went. That is what was going on with me financially for the month of May and the month of June. Again, 6 months in, I am definitely feeling optimistic. I am proud of the efforts that I've made. I am proud of the progress that I made. I still have, you know, a ways to go to get everything paid off, but I feel empowered in the sense that I know I can do it because I've proven to myself that I can do it. There have been highs and lows, moments where I felt like I was not doing good enough, but I just, like I said earlier, have to remind myself that no day is the same, no week is the same, therefore no month will be the same, and I just have to be patient with myself and know how to adjust and flex as necessary. Speaking of feeling empowered, if you are interested in trying out the app for 30 days, I will leave you a link in the description box. Again, I've been using it for a few months. I think I started in March or April. I found out about it through a friend of mine. It has really kind of helped me kind of get a good sense of where my money is going and how much money I'm really spending in areas versus how much money I think that I'm spending. They do have a free trial that you can try out. I will make sure to link that in the description box. If you have any comments that you want to leave, any successes that you would like to share, I encourage you to also leave that in the comment section. If you just want to show support, please do give this video a thumbs up. If you're not following me on Instagram, go ahead and head over there. I do on occasion, I need to get better. I do share every once in a while some financial information and Insta stories there, but if you just kind of want to see my day-to-day life, that's mostly what I do over there as well. But that is pretty much it. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please make sure that you do so. Please stay safe out there, wash your hands, do everything that you need to do so we can get our lives back on track and enjoy just the privileges of being outside and being around other people. That's my public service announcement for that. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to sharing with you my month of July in about 4 weeks. So I will see you then. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.